getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Well, from the luscious Cheshire countryside just 1 week ago, we head to the Ardennes Forest for 2020 for round 3, season 4 of the Radical SR10 Championship for the Radical Race Series. My name's Alex Goldschmidt. I'll be bringing in very shortly the man, the myth, the legend, and the man behind the cameras tonight, Mr. James Parfitt. But we have moved away from Alton Park, no chicanes, 1 week ago, and we head to the iconic Spa-Francorchamps, just over 7 kilometres in length, and it's going to provide a true test for all our drivers this evening. Here's the scores at the moment. Well, James Barry on 118 points, the Insert Name Me Racing Team driver. 5 Simon Edwards in the number 52 is just a mere 5 points behind after the comeback last time out at Alton Park. Jorge Gonzaga, the Portuguese man of war, is a further 23 points behind. Then we've got Team Radline's Paul Crabb in 4th, David Rolliston, Damien G, Seth Brown, Josh Reed, James McCritchie and Jamie Bird rounding out the top 10. Paul LeMay, Mike Bousson and Ned Smith also completing the top 12 in the standings. Neb Smith, Robert Woodward, Phil Jocelyn, Phil Glover, Graham Matthew and Michael LeMay ran out the top 18. We're still waiting on the teams championships, but there you see the runners and riders. We're not that far away from getting into qualifying, so without further ado, James Parfitt, good evening.
Good evening to you, young sir. How is it all going?
It's well, currently where I am at the moment in Western Germany, the heavens have just opened, so wet weather conditions, which is normally a feature you see at Spa-Francorchamps at the best of times.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not going to see it in the SR10 because they're one of the cars that have not got rain tyres at this moment in time, so we won't see that. Thank God for that. I don't fancy rain in the SR10. We are going to be going into qualifying in a very short while. There you go. We've just literally switched over, so we'll see qualifying and see how these guys get on. Going to be a very, very interesting one, I think, this track itself. Here at Spa, we all know it. We all know it very well, and hopefully these drivers will know it as well.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of drivers have some off tracks. It's going to be an 11-minute qualifying session. So the format for tonight, the sprint race will be 7 laps and the feature race will be 11. Going to see speeds hitting north of 160 miles an hour as there is Simon Edwards going down the infamous Kemmel Straight. And there you see 161, 162. We could be 163 before the braking zone. I have seen top speeds recorded during free practice, James, of I think around about close to 167, 168 miles an hour in the free practice session, but a few off tracks as well thereof.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Spa. It's very easy to get off tracks, and they're going to have to be very, very careful. I think if they're drafting anything, it will be north of 160. I've got a funny feeling on that one. But we will just have to see how it gets on. We've got Simon Edwards, Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, James McRitchie, George Gonzaga, Jamie Bird, Phil Glover, pretty much the whole of the field out on track apart from Darrell Taylor. Mr. Taylor is the only one who is not out on the circuit at this moment in time, but I'm sure that will change at some point, and it'd be good to see him on the circuit and get some quali laps in if he can. Don't forget, they've still only got their 3 laps, but it takes a little bit longer here at Spa, hence the extra minute on qualifying.
Yeah, noticing in free practice, Simon Edwards was the only driver to go sub 2 minute 12. He did I think it was a low 2 minutes 11.9. So he's going to be the man to beat this evening. I'm very, very sure of it. But with the form that we have seen from James Barry over the first 2 rounds of the 2 weeks of the championship, of course, next week we go to the Netherlands to Circuit Zandvoort. Of course, Simon Edwards yet to decide where week 5 is going to end up. That's going to be on the 10th of October. Then it's Circuit de Nevada, week 6. Portimao, week 7. Donington Park National, week 8. Watkins Glen, including the boot, at week 9. VIR, week 10. Road America Full Course, week 11. Sebring International, week 12. And then James Parfitt's favourite circuit, Interlagos, rounds out the season on December the 5th. But it really is going to be quite interesting. Now we're going to really see the push laps coming into play. Simon Edwards coming out through Eau Rouge and Irradiant, and now down the Kemmel Straight. 162 miles an hour indicated, 163. Purple in sector 1, no surprise there. Hard on the brakes into Les Gommes, through the right, now into the left, into the right-hander here at Malmedy before heading into the right-hand hairpin at Bruxelles. A little bit of an off-track there from Simon, but he is pushing.
Yeah, they will in qualifying for their opening laps. So, to be honest with you, I'm surprised they are. I thought they might have tried to get a banker in first before they start hammering as fast as they can. But they've got to obviously look at trying to get a time on the board. And I think they want to do it in the first one. They've got a couple of more shots after this one to be able to get some times on. So they just got to make sure that they can make it all clean and get round it all okay without any problems. Should be a fun one. Kemmel Straight. I can guarantee we're probably going to see 3 wide at one point.
Yeah, I think you're right. We might even see 4. You might be lucky if someone's got 2 wheels on the grass, but Edwards making his way down the hill once again. Purple in sector 2. Now he's on his way through out of Stavelot into Curb Paul Frère, and then it's the run down to Blanchimont. Let's see how hard Simon Edwards wants to push that car. 153, 155. Is there going to be a little bit of a lift through into Blanchimont? No, fully pinned at 159 miles an hour as Paul LeMay goes purple in sector 3. But this is going to be a really, really good banker lap for Simon Edwards. He was purple in sectors 1 and 2. Someone's stolen sector 2 away from him. But Simon Edwards across the line as we nearly hit the halfway point. 2 minute 12.199 for the 7-time champion.
Yeah, an outstanding lap from him. We're seeing how he gets on here as well. We've got Paul LeMay doing a great little job in there, and Michael LeMay, time's coming in thick and fast. James McRitchie puts himself on second. Mike Bousson in there, of course. Don't forget, last time winner out in race number 2 last week. See if he can repeat that feat that he had. There's a few that haven't got times. Paul LeMay, Michael LeMay, Darrell Taylor, Bird, Reed, Woodward and Barry. So we'll see what goes on and see if they can get times on the board. But yeah, it should be an exciting one, this. I don't mind Spa, but it's just Spa. I don't know if that's because we've been here with every car in every series and everything possible that it just gets a little bit Spa. But hopefully the races should be good.
Yeah, James Barry now goes provisional pole with a 2 minute 12.083, a tenth quicker than Edwards. Then it's James McRitchie, Jorge Gonzaga, Michael LeMay, Seth Brown, Phil Glover rounding out the top 7. Robert Woodward in the number 18 now rounds out the top 10, 3 tenths behind race 2 winner at Alton Park International, no chicanes last week. The man who talks about campers and carrots in a post-race interview, Frome's very own Mike Bousson. But Edwards a bit slower in that opening sector, but he's put it up another gear in sector 2. He's just gone purple, so he's got about a tenth and a bit to find here. We're 5 minutes away from the checkered flag here in qualifying, but Edwards being able to plant that Radical SR10 through Blanchimont at full chat, 6 gear, throttled down fully at 157 on that particular occasion, but on his first attempt 159. Personal best in sector number 3 for the number 52 as he approaches the chicane. On the brakes, down to 2nd gear, 50 miles an hour on the apex exit, and he's going to head towards the line. Is this going to be an improvement for Simon Edwards? Yes, but not in terms of position. He bettered it by 1/1000th.
Yeah, he definitely did there as well. I've got to have a chuckle. Going to miss tonight, guys. Suffering from jet lag after flying to Bristol. That's in the US for the NASCAR. To get your hat, James, he says, and that's Paul Clark, who was at Bristol this weekend. Picked me up a hat and a programme, so bless his little cotton socks. So that's something I've got to look forward to coming as well. But yeah, still on for arranging a little bit of a trip to the last 3 rounds of the NASCAR next season. So we're going to be ending up going Dega, Martinsville and Phoenix. So hopefully we can get that going and get that all sorted out and go and have some fun, I think, while we're out there. But yeah, it should be a good one. We've got James Barry coming round the bus stop.
Yeah, Jamie Bird has just got up to 9th on a personal best, and Barry has just put in a 2 minute. Oh, 2:11.9. What is that? 2:11.872, bettering Simon Edwards' best lap time by about 3/400ths of a second. So James Barry seems to be very, very settled. He's on his way down the hill into Rouge Radiant. So he goes up the hill at over 150 miles an hour. There's Mr. Rollinson. Josh Reed has pulled into the pits. Now he might be lucky and get out and might be able to do a flying lap, but it's going to be tight. Mike Bousson has also pitted. But the thing is with Spa, and I thought this might be the case, that the drivers are going to stay out for pretty much the entire session. But to try and improve, you've really, really got to push it, but also not get caught out by somebody that might be in front of you.
Oh, yeah, but they all know to leave enough room between them so they don't get affected by the draft as well. It's one of the things they do as well. You know, you try and leave enough room between cars so you don't get the draft off others, because let's face it, it doesn't really represent your lap if you end up catching the draft and being, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 miles an hour more faster than people up through El Rouge and Radion. So they do try and leave that gap there for them to be able to set their laps as a optimal lap time for them, shall we say. But I think this one, to be honest with you, as much as I love qualifying, Spa is one of them circuits with the opening runner through up El Rouge Radion and down through the Camel. It ain't going to matter much, because you could be in first place, and if the second place has got a great run out of La Source, you're going to be in second by the time they get to the end of the Camel. So, you know, it's a hit and miss, isn't it?
Well, nice work by James McRitchie in the 44. He's just gone P3. Gonzaga has ended up in the garage. Damien G goes up to 13th on a 2:13.884. 3 tenths behind Jamie Bird in 11th, and he's just behind the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Phil Glover. James Barry not improving through sectors 1 and 3, but has just gone purple in sector 2. So it is going to be interesting in the last minute or so. And here we have Mr. LeMay on our screens at the moment. That's Paul LeMay in the number 27 coming down the hill. And, well, he's just aborted that lap, so that's going to be a return to garage. And he won't get out in time for another lap. But there is, that's Jamie Bird, just outside of the top 11 by about 2.5 tenths. He's making his way down into the infamous Lecom part of the circuit, just off the Kemmel Straight. So 35 seconds left in. No, he's not. He's going to run out of time.
Yeah, too far away around the circuit. It's going to basically just click, I should say, with my teeth, click straight over. Do you know the interesting thing about this as well is iRacing's here, and we talk about their sectors constantly. They've split Spa into 4, but Alton Park last week was 6. And Spa's longer than Alton.
I was hoping for 3 tonight, but you know what? You can wish all you like, because a little bit of a tank slapper there for Jamie Bird. But that's it. Check it is out, and no surprise, James Barry has got pole position by a whopping 0.363 seconds ahead of Simon Edwards. So here is the grid for the sprint race, which will take place over 7 laps. So James Barry will start from pole position. 2:11.833 was his fastest lap time. He'll be ahead of the 7-time champion Simon Edwards. James McRitchie and Josh Reed on row 2. Jorge Gonzaga and Paul LeMay, row 3. Mike Bousson and Seth Brown, row 4. David Rollison and Michael LeMay round out the top 10. Then on row 6, 11th and 12th, we've got Jamie Bird and Robert Woodward. Phil Glover, will he be able to hit a top 10 tonight? Well, we're going to have to wait and see and find out. And along with him on row number 7 will be Damien G in the number 40. Darryl Taylor and Phil Jocelyn round out the 16-strong grid, as with normal customary Radical Race Series SR10 Championship Season 4 Round 3 here at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. It will be standing starts. We are just waiting for a few more drivers to pop up on the grid. There is Simon Edwards, and then we'll just be waiting for the likes of James Barry. He's just jumped onto the grid. Quite a few still we're waiting for. McRitchie, Bousson, Brown, Michael LeMay, yet to get on there. Seth Brown has just decided to jump on. It's only a couple more drivers, and then we can get the 5 red lights fired up here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for round 3, the sprint race of Season 4 for 2024. Well, not much longer to wait, folks, because the 5 red lights start to ignite here at Spa-Francorchamps for race 1 of round 3, and the lights are out. A lot of wheel spin from Seth Brown, but a good hole shot from James Barry. Simon Edwards looking to go around the outside of La Source early doors, but might lose out to McRitchie on the run down into a Rouge Radiant. Then we got Gonzaga trying to go toe-to-toe with Reed. Reed blocks the door off. Edwards now pulls in front of McRitchie. But Barry leads the way up the hill for the first time. We're riding on board with our third place driver, the number 44. Great job in qualifying by James McRitchie as they come down the Kemmel Straight for the first time. Robert Woodward has just lost the position to James Taylor, but Simon Edwards already using that slipstream, looking to pin it possibly to the outside, maybe the crossover here through into Le Com. Barry nibbles on the curbing, both sides, and then into the run, into the right-hander, down the hill here at Malmedy. A good start from everyone. Clean so far here, James.
Yeah, no real problems to report, to be honest with you. Everybody made it through and is absolutely flying. So that's good to see. And hopefully this shall continue. But it's going to be what Simon Edwards is able to do here. Whether or not he's going to make that move past Barry. Do we wait till the final lap? As somebody's gone round. That is Mike Bousson. Spun coming out there, unfortunately, of him out of no name. And it's just made a mistake for Mike Bousson. So we'll have a look back at that one in a very short moment in time. Paul LeMay in the mix as well, just about to go up the side of Josh Reed.
Yep, and well, it's very, very close. Gonzaga now closing in on Paul LeMay as Reed goes a little bit wide as they head through into campus. Now they're going to make their way through into Stavelot and then go round the infamous Cours Paul Frère. Oh, wider than some. What a save from James McRitchie as Paul LeMay goes toe-to-toe into Blanchimont. The fastest part of the circuit. He's up the inside. Did he lift? I don't think he did. That's a great job there by Paul LeMay. Past Josh Reed for 4th place.
Yeah, he got the job done, did Paul there. Josh is sitting in alongside him. Though you can see him on the right-hand side. Seth Brown's further back. He was having a little bit of a side-to-side with Phil Glover, but they managed to hold on. Glover there with Darrell Taylor in that Skittles liveried machine. That looks absolutely amazing, as long as your favourite thing is Skittles. But let's have a look back and see what Mike Bousson got himself up to. Here, was there contact? No, I think he's gone and done it on his own. Yeah, he
there
hit
might
the
be
curb.
a little touch to the back bumper of Gonzaga, back diffuser of Gonzaga, and full on 360, but managed to avoid everybody in the process. So well held there by Mike Bousson, just looking from the helicam.
No,
left-hander, yes.
Yeah, his front left went on the sausage curb. If you watch the,
but he also got an assist. He got an assist from behind from Jamie Bird in the process because Jamie had nowhere to go on that one.
There, and unfortunately, on sort of the well, Jamie Bird, is just an innocent party, isn't he? Unfortunately for Jamie, there's
oh, that's Phil Jocelyn, I think, that was just literally yeeted.
There were 3 wide.
So 3 wide. Phil's, I think, going to try and go over to the left. Yep, bang, slight touch there. Left rear, spins him around, takes off the rear wing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's already in the bits.
Yeah, Simon Edwards has cleared James Barry. That was down the Kemmel Straight. He got that job done as well, just on his way into Pouhon. I don't care that they've renamed it Double Goosh. It will always be Pouhon. That is the end of that one, and I'm not open to any further discussion on that one as they go into La Fagna here at Spa. It's probably one of the only circuits, Alex, that changes corner names probably once every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, well, McRitchie's got to watch himself because he's got Paul LeMay breathing down his rear exhaust pipes as they come out of campus into Stavelot, now into Cours Paul Frère. Oh, that was a bit wide there by James Barry. He's about 4/10 off of Edwards, but can he get a little bit of slipstream? LeMay is looking rather racy tonight. He's right up the rear wing of McRitchie, going through into Blanchimont. Now, can he put the anchors on? He's going to switch it to the outside. Decides to try and do the old Nigel Mansell dummy, but McRitchie just closes that off. Barry, in the meantime, regathers himself back up as they come out of the chicane once again as we complete lap number 2. On to lap 3 we go. Running on board with the insert name e-racing driver. Oh, how close he was on the brakes to Barry, and he's lost all that time again.
Yeah, that was a very, very close scenario there. I did honestly think McRitchie was going to make that through. He just didn't, unfortunately. How far back are we? About 6.5 tenths. It'll be whether or not, though, Alex, we see them. They've got to be within that 2.5 10 mark again to see if that happens. You can see further back, I think this is a free wide moment. No, this is just Josh Reed going past Mr. Paul LeMay. And then we've got Seth Brown in there. That is free wide with David Rolliston and Jamie Bird as they head down into Lacoon. Not the most easiest place. Rollo backs out the sensible. Bird just says, I'm going for it anyway. And Seth Brown's there going with nowhere to go.
Yeah, well, Seth nearly got the inside line there, but Jamie Bird, you know, hats off to him for having the stones to keep him around the outside of the first part of Olympic Garden as they go down the hill here into Bruxelles. So the all lock up on the right side by Seth Brown. That's going to open the door for Rolliston, but not for No Name, or as it's now known, Speaker's Corner. Rollo still keeping it round the outside. Take a bow, Mr. Rolliston. That was a brilliant opportunity, but he's going to get mugged going to Puhon here. Brown just went a little bit too deep inside. Rolliston's got the cross back. That's great stuff from David Rolliston. He's just absolutely thrown one up the inside, neat as you like, through on Seth Brown. There it is, 8th position for the 2.62.
Yeah, Phil Glover at the moment sitting in that prized 10th place. Here ready for pole position for race number 2. Look like Damien G is having a battle with Mike Bousson. Mike's just passed him, so Mike on the recovery after his first time round. These guys just coming in through Blanchimont, going down into the bus stop. James Barry in there, battling away with Simon Edwards. 2 main protagonists in the championship, Alex. And I think, to be honest, it's going to be tough for anyone to get near him.
Yeah, James McRitchie is about 9 tenths away from this battle as we now come around this 7.004 kilometre circuit to complete lap number 3. We're on to halfway lap out of 7, lap 4, into La Source again.
Oh, he goes in too hot.
He does.
Yeah, he needs to get that in that. There's a curbing and a dip on the inside of La Source. You use that for rotation, and he needs to get the car in there. He's just a little bit too hot at the moment, is James Barry.
Yeah, but now look at the closing speed he's got on Simon Edwards down the Kemmel Straight. James Barry to the outside. The 1-time champion versus the 7-time champion. They're nearly rubbing side skirts down the Kemmel Straight at over 155 miles an hour. Who's going to be the bravest of the brave? Edwards gets the inside line and keeps the lead.
Yeah, he made sure he opened it up on the exit there as well, did Simon Edwards. He's very clever. I do love Simon, the way he drives. He's very, very clever. Barry's trying to come round the inside of Rivage, and they're not going to make it this time, or Bruxelles, whichever name you want to call it this week. Then now through the left-hander of No Name. And I think for Barry, he was at a point last time out as well where we saw him in race number 1 at Alton, where Edwards was just teaching him things every single lap. It was mainly around Knickerbrook. Barry was trying the outside, couldn't get it to work. Edward did it to him in race number 2, got it to work first time. So for James Barry, every time he sits in behind Simon Edwards, he's learning. And Edwards is teaching him without an issue of how to do it, where to do it, and what to do it. Because you watch something that James Barry can't do, if he gets in front of him, Alex, Simon Edwards will be able to do.
Yeah, now what this is allowing to happen is that McRitchie, Reed and Gonzaga, who's just set the fastest lap, by the way, on lap 3, 2 minutes 12.331, are starting to close on in. So it may not just be a 2-horse race for the victory here in this 7-lap sprint. It could be a quintet of SR10s battling away. And now on the run down to the bus stop chicane, Barry to the outside of Edwards, but decides, you know what, discretion's the better part of valour. We're still only 3 weeks in to this 13-week schedule. And at the moment, the best thing you can do is that if you're not winning, pick up points, pick up consistently good scores, and that's going to help you. But now this is going to really bring in James McRitchie, and McRitchie got a better run, better rotation through La Source, and he's right in the slipstream of James Barry at the moment. It's about 2 and a bit tenths of a second. 6th gear up the hill through Eau Rouge et Radiant, and now onto the Kemmel Straight. Keep your eyes on the speedometer on the bottom right-hand corner of your screens, folks. 162 miles an hour, 163.
He's not trying.
Just pulled out of the zone. Yeah.
He's got wrong gearing. He's redlining. He's redlining all the way through. Gonzaga's just gone past Reed, and McRitchie can't do anything. He hasn't set his gearing high enough. He was redlined as soon as he got close at 163. And if everybody else in front is doing 65 and 66, he can't get past them. He is stuck at the moment for Mr. McRitchie. Hopefully after this race, he'll be able to adjust the gearing and give himself the longer gearing, which will allow him to get that higher speeds. But at the moment, he's stuck there. He cannot go more than 163. He's redlining as it is at the moment, Alex, as well. But Josh Reed trying the inside. That is Mr. Gonzaga on the outside of us there.
That's a poo on. That's a brave try there from Josh Reed in the number 9 car. He's been a little bit of a sensation in the opening 2 rounds of this championship, and he's really showcasing that he's not here just to make up the numbers. He's consistently in the top 5 when he's really on song, and he's even been at the sharp end of the field at some points as well. But yeah, McRitchie, that's coming out of Stavlo, going through into Kerpel Frere. He's lost all that time again. Like you said, just listen, folks. He's on the red line, 161 miles an hour through Blanchimont, and now Barry again trying to the outside of the bus stop. Yeah, he's not going to get through there, but if he gets a really good run out of the bus stop chicane, but he doesn't throw it away through La Source, he might have to swing the car a little bit wider to the outside, like you're seeing with Edwards. He's lining it up. He's going to turn in now. Bang, there you go. That was a lot better from James Barry. And now he's got the run going down the hill into Rouge-et-Radiant. So this is going to be the opportunity. If he's less than 0.2 of a second behind Simon Edwards up the top of the hill, well, before they've even got halfway up the hill, he's less than 0.1 behind. Barry swarming all over Edwards. And now he's slotting back into the slipstream again. And McRitchie is chasing the pair of them. But again, he's hitting that red line. It's a problem for James McRitchie. However, Edwards and Barry side by side into Les Combes. McRitchie nearly got the move on Barry there, possibly.
Yeah, but he would have lost it again the following run down Blanchimont. He needs to get this race, try and stay wherever he is for Mr. McRitchie, get into the next part of the warm-up, because he's got a couple of minutes, and adjust that gearing, because if I show you James Barry or Simon Edwards' speed, you can guarantee on El Rouge and Radiant they are literally 165, 166. McRitchie, 163, 64, red line, cannot go anywhere else. And you saw it there as well, Alex. He pulled out of the draft and he didn't go anywhere. He has not got the pace in that car at the moment for Mr. McRitchie. He's looking fast, don't get me wrong, and he's looking meaty, and he's in there. And if he can't get that top gear for race number 2, he's going to be in trouble. There is a right little ding-dong going on down here with all of the cars. Phil Glover, Bousson, LeMay, Rolliston, Taylor, Woodward and G all fighting out in this mix. They've had a right little back and forth.
Yeah, Phil Glover currently P9, which will put him second for the top 10 reverse grid. That will put Bousson onto pole position, like we saw last time out at week 2 for race 2. Here we are on board with the man from Froome in Somerset, the number 666, Team Radline driver. Next time around, we're going to go onto the white flag lap. So as they hurtle their way through out of Blanchimont and down towards the bus stop chicane, is Mike Bousson going to try and do a move here, possibly? Well, not if Michael LeMay has anything to say about it, or Rolliston, or Taylor, or G, or Woodward. White flag in the air, and at the moment, Simon Edwards leading by nearly 0.4 of a second ahead of James Barry. Here come the top 3. 0.7 of a second apart, through into Rouge-et-Radiant, up over the crest of the hill once again, now down the infamous Kemmel Straight. Barry once again in the slipstream, now pulls the left-hand side. He's going to get the side draft here as well. But it's going to be Edwards into Les Combes. McRitchie just takes too much curbing. 2 wheels on the outer tarmac, and that loses him time again. But as you said, the gearing has been a little bit of a downfall for James McRitchie, and I think he'll learn by that. And of course, with a longer feature race coming up, Jorge Gonzaga has got Josh Reed and Paul LeMay. This is the battle for 4th place as they come down the hill once again through No Name, through Speaker's Corner, kicking up the dust just Josh Reed with the right rear, now into Pouhon. So let's see what Josh Reed does this time. Stays on the same line as Jorge Gonzaga. 5th gear, 110 miles an hour whilst negotiating the first part, but then you can accelerate. Now into Lefania. Dive bomb and a half from Josh Reed. Nearly got the job done on Jorge Gonzaga, but had to back out of it before Campos and Stavlo.
Oh, dude, he come by aeroplane. He didn't lick the stamens, then he got on the 747 and hurtled over down the runway at 600 miles an hour. Josh Reed, you brave boy, you, as he went and started.
That was Concord. Oh, here we go. Barry and Edwards about to head through Blanchimont for the final time at 155 miles an hour. Barry looked for the move. It's going to come down to the wire into the bus stop chicane for the final time here on lap 7 out of 7 for race 1, week 3. And out of the final corner, it's going to be a victory. Simon Edwards puts the pedal to the metal and crosses the line 2 tenths ahead of James Barry. Oh, now that's Josh Reed coming out of the bus stop. Oh, disaster. Disaster for Josh Reed. All that hard work, he was running 5th. Oh, and he's nearly been contacted by Mike Bousson. And, well, Darrell Taylor takes 10th in that one. But Josh Reed, what on earth happened there?
He's come out of the bus stop and put the power down too early. Yep.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Oh,
I want to have a look at I wanted to have a look at the rejoin after because that was very, very close. But yeah, unfortunately, it changed over.
Yeah, I mean, just from what I saw, it was a case that he rejoined right in front of Phil Glover and Mike Bousson. But here are your Heat 1 result, the sprint race results. Simon Edwards, after 7 laps, winning the race by just over 2 tenths of a second from James Barry. James McRitchie still manages to keep a solid 3rd place. Jorge Gonzaga in 4th, Paul LeMay 5th, Jamie Bird 6th, Seth Brown, Phil Glover, Mike Bousson and Darrell Taylor round out the top 10. Darrell Taylor will start from the top 10 reverse grid pole position for the feature race. Josh Reed, what could have been a 5th place, ended up being 11th after that spin with too many beans on the loud pedal coming out of the bus stop chicane, finishing ahead of David Rolliston, Robert Woodward, Damien G, Michael LeMay and Phil Jocelyn, rounding out the finishing order 3 laps down. Well,
that was
spicy
exciting.
Belgian fireworks in that one, weren't there?
Yeah, it was, definitely. How long do we have here? Because I want to have a quick...
Well, you got about 40 seconds, I think.
Oh, okay. I'll wait to speak to Phil then. Normally I have a quick chat with Phil, but he's going to be there, the man. He drives in VR and a motion simulator all at the same time. Don't ask me how he does it, but he does it well.
Well, we had a conversation about that last week, and I said, if I do VR or I do motion, I'm fine. Both together, no way, Jose.
No. Not at all. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. As you get older, it doesn't work out. So
yeah, Phil's got a strong stomach.
Clearly, yes. Absolutely. But yeah, great run from all of them in race number 1. Looking forward to race number 2. Of course, we've got 11 laps in race number 2, so should be an exciting one.
Yes, indeed. So warm up has just finished here at Spa-Francorchamps. Hopefully James McRitchie has managed to get his gearing sorted out. So let's take you through the grid for the feature race. 11 laps of Spa-Francorchamps in this particular occasion. It's going to be Darrell Taylor that's going to start from pole position, ahead of Mike Bousson. Phil Glover and Seth Brown round out the top 2 rows, ahead of Jamie Bird, who's 5th, ahead of Paul LeMay, who rounds out the top 6. Jorge Gonzaga and James McRitchie will round out the top 4 rows. James Barry and Simon Edwards rounding out the top 10. Josh Reed will start 11th, David Rolliston 12th, ahead of Robert Woodward, Damien G, Michael LeMay, and bringing up the rear of the field will be Phil Jocelyn. I'm sure that when we have a post-race chat to Mr. Glover, he'll be very, very happy that he got into the top 10 for the first time this season.
Yes, now the question will be, can he go and win it?
Well, let's find out, folks, because they've all readied up on the grid. 11 laps of Spa-Francorchamps for the feature race for week 3 for season 4. The 5 red lights ignite once again here in the Ardennes Forest, and the lights are out. We're underway. Let's see who gets the best run to La Source first, and it is the number 22 of Darrell Taylor. Glover already trying to go on the offensive. Oh, Taylor locks up going into La Source. Glover goes very tight to the wall through at La Source and manages to slightly keep ahead of Mike Bousson, who's got Seth Brown right on his rear wing. Jamie Bird is there as well, up the hill through Rouge Radiant. Down the Camel Straight they'll go for the first time. But Darrell Taylor got a really good hole shot. Phil Glover really started to come good in the second phase of the start. But look, Mike Bousson is closing towards the outside on the approach into Les Combes. And who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Bousson's going to try and put it round the outside. That's an audacious manoeuvre from the 666.
Yeah, he got it done though over Phil. Unfortunately, looks like Barry's in there just about. Brown's in there, Richard.
Phil's tumbled.
Phil's tumbled down the back of the order. Unfortunately, we'll have a look back and see what he's been up to. But Darrell Taylor leading the way, but he has got Mike Bousson pressurising him at the moment as well. Mike benefiting from the reverse grid once more. Maybe it's Mike's plan this season. Finish up near the front in race number, or up near the mid pack in race number 2, and go on and win race number 2. Bless him. So he's doing a great job at the moment. Bird's in there, Gonzaga, Edwards, Barry, Brown, McRitchie and Reed all battling out. And this, before they get onto Blanchimont, is what happened. Oh, was there contact with Phil there? Yes.
Right front to left rear, and then a double secondary contact as a result of
Steph Brown.
poor old
Yeah.
So
Steph Brown making contact with him. But nice little run altogether for Phil. He lasted a few corners.
yeah, true. I definitely know he would have at least wanted to make one lap, but Bousson closing in on Taylor. But look, Simon Edwards already up 6 spots. As he's
where
going
are you
around the outside. Jamie Bird, that was a bit of a big old lock-up, and now he's going to come under the kibosh because there's Edwards really closing in, and there's Gonzaga to Edwards' immediate right-hand side. So you see the positions going up and down. Seth Brown down 3 places. James McRitchie down 3 places. Josh Reed now up 3 places and up to 8th. And look at this. Edwards versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga is a bit like Perez and Ocon at Racing Point a couple of years ago, but enough racing room was given. Round the outside. Nice move there by Simon Edwards. And here comes James Barry on his own teammate coming down the Camel Straight. This could be a really, really good run here for the one-time champion. James Barry in the number 10. Could be nearly 3 wide. Gonzaga, is he going to try it? No, he decides to back out of it and lets Barry go around the outside of him into Les Combes. Very shrewd driving there from Jorge Gonzaga.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'd love to have gone for it there as well. Didn't quite make it for poor old Georges this time. Bousson has taken lead from Darrell Taylor, and he'll be sitting in there now. Darrell trying to hold on. Jamie Bird has got himself just overtaken by Simon Edwards and James Barry. Gonzaga in there, Brown's in there behind Reed. Big puff of smoke from the gravel on the left-hand side from Edwards on that one. And Simon Edwards up 7 places, sitting in 3rd already. He does have James Barry behind. If these two start fighting, I can guarantee it's what Darrell Taylor needs and wants. Because if these guys start fighting, it gives him a bit of room and a bit of breathing space, does Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, well, at the moment he's got a 1 3/4 second advantage over Simon Edwards, but Barry is chasing him down as they come through campus and then into Stavelot before Curb Paul Frere, and then it's pedal to the metal, and then see how big your cojones are when you fling it through into the fast left-hander at Blanchimont at over 150 miles an hour in 6th gear. 161 for James Barry. 163. He did not lift either. You could really, really go full throttle in these SR10s through Blanchimont, but Edwards covers off Barry into the first part of the bus stop chicane, but Mike Bousson now has a lead of around about 1.2 seconds over Darrell Taylor. And Simon Edwards has just put in a 2-minute 13.6. If he clears Darrell Taylor, then Mike Bousson will know that his possible days are numbered being at the front end of the field. But then, you know, as you rightly said, it depends on what happens between Edwards and Barry. But then Jamie Bird is looking rather racy. He's just on a 2:14.4. Barry at 2:13, high 2:13.5. There goes the move. I thought it might happen quickly. Taylor passed by Edwards, and Edwards up into 2nd place from 10th on the grid.
Yeah, now it's going to be whether or not Buson can be able to hold him. Don't forget, he's the one that's not receiving the draft here. Taylor and Barry side by side through Lecombe, coming out the other side, of course, into Malmedy. Taylor's going to open it up. Oh, he didn't. He scrubbed your speed by pulling that car tight. You should have just left it on that outline and gave him something to think about. Bird and Gonzaga side by side as well. Going into No Name. Bird does make it through on Mr. Gonzaga. Darrell Taylor missed a trick there. He had the inside line for Malmedy. He could have just opened it up, that steering just a little bit to give Barry something to think about. What does he go and do instead? Pulls it tight to the right hand side, scrubs the speed off. Barry says, thank you very much. I'll have some of that, son.
Yeah, Gonzaga trying to get through. Taylor and Bird side by side, wheel to wheel through Lefagne into towards the approach into campus. And at the moment, well, that's going to open the door for Gonzaga quite easily. But Gonzaga unable to take the opportunity quite yet as they go through now into Stavelo. Gonzaga trying to get the side draft out of the corner.
Oh.
Bird drift by, tank slapper for Bird. That's going to allow Gonzaga to go wheel to wheel. And here comes Josh Reed again. Josh Reed once more is just picking off people like they're standing still. And he's round the outside on the approach into Blanchimont on Jamie Bird. Here comes Seth Brown. God, this is a three-way scrap that looks rather mouth-watering, I do have to say.
Yeah, now Bird's got to make sure he holds the inside. Brown can't do what he did to Glover in race number one, in Lecombe, sorry, back along at the beginning of this race. Edwards on a 2:12.035, fastest lap of the race at the moment. He's getting closer and closer to Buson. Buson really needs Barry to give Edwards something to think about here. Damien G looks like he's just had a little bit of a ta-ta-ta and a spin with himself by the looks of it for Mr. G, but man, Buson needed this to go the other way. He needed Barry to get here and stop that. Now that machine of a man is the 7-time champion on the left-hand side in that number 52 machine. And he just, you see how he comes into Lecombe, Alex. It just positions his car, does Simon, just in, almost in the middle of the circuit. It gives the guys behind it something to think about. And as of yet, they don't know what to do about it because he just gives them enough room on the outside to say, go on then if you're a brave boy. And he just gives them enough on the inside to say, go on then, but this ain't going to end well. So, yeah, they're going to have something to think about.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, sometimes if it looks smooth, it's normally fast. And with Simon Edwards, that very much can be the case, depending on how his setup has correlated to his driving style on the respective circuits that we're visiting here in the Radical Race Series SR10 Championship, Week 3 of Season 4 for 2024. There's Jorge Gonzaga, 3.3 seconds behind teammate James Barry. Now, we're going to have a replay. This is with Damien G through into
He's spinning up. Back up.
Oi! Kept it out of the wall, though, thank God.
And James McRitchie kept his car out of him because this man was very, very close indeed to this. And for McRitchie, he had a little bit of a Code Brown moment just about now. Whoop, hey up.
It's like, yeah, to me, to you, with the steering wheel. But now behind, now there's Darrell Taylor, Jamie Bird throwing it around the outside of him to stay ahead at the moment. But Josh Reed is really looking better. Oh, bit of a wobble there from Seth Brown. That's going to allow Robert Woodward in the Pink Pig SR10 to get through. So this is a really good battle that we're seeing here between Gonzaga, Bird, Taylor, Reed, Woodward, McRitchie. I'll be interested to see what his top speeds are at the moment. Hopefully he's got that final gear ratio all sorted out. Top speeds I'm seeing at the moment, top speed from Jamie Bird, 171. Woodward 169, Josh Reed 170, Edwards running on a 167, Barry on a 169. This is miles an hour, folks. Obviously, this takes into consideration the tow that some of the drivers are getting, depending on what part of the circuit you're behind. But Taylor might need to watch out for Reed because Reed got a really good run coming out of their comments in Malmedy. Yeah,
he definitely did. He's going to have to be a little bit careful, did Taylor. But Reed then got it all a little bit wrong on a run down into Ravage. That's allowed Robert Woodward to do that on Josh Reed because he got that well wrong. So James McRitchie and Seth Brown? No, not this time as he goes onto the gravel.
Seth Brown doing the Joker lap.
Yeah, literally. But it is Edwards out in front now, and they're all pulling away from Buson. Barry and Edwards. Buson in the middle, could be stuck in that little bit of no man's land here as well for Mike Buson, sorry. So he's going to have to try. I don't really know what he can try, to be honest. He's just got to drive faster, I think, for Buson on that one. Edwards, Barry, Buson, Gonzaga, Bird, Taylor, Woodward, Ritchie, Reed and Brown rounding out the top 10. And it looks like our two brothers racing one of the brothers, Mr. Paul LeMay, who is facing the wrong way, which is...
and missing a rear wing as well in the process.
Yeah, that's why he's missing the rear wing on that one. He did some lovely pirouettes.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately for him. Yeah. Never good at a high-speed circuit like Spa to not have a rear wing on the car.
Yeah, I've seen that with quite a few GC4 races as well, where someone's gone backwards down the hill or down the Kemmel Straight, and they've ended up just going backwards into the barriers, and then bang, back end's an absolute mess. Rear wing's got no rear wing's not there, no downforce to speak of. But, well, it's ding ding, seconds out, round 2 here between Messrs Edwards and Barry. Through down the hill into Eau Rouge et Radiant, once again up the hill at over 140 miles an hour. Barry really getting racy, and now he's trying to keep it pinned around the outside. He's going to get the side draft. He's a car length. Well, he was a car length ahead, but then Edwards just managing to keep it to the inside. So whatever Edwards is doing is counteracting the hard work that Barry's putting into Le Com. Barry slots in behind and decides discretion is the better part of valor, as we're 40% of the way through lap 6 out of 11.
Yeah, at the moment we're plodding on and getting through them, aren't we? I think that's the main part of this, Alex, to be honest with you. It's a long old race. You've got to have, you know, that stamina to move a very tough car at times round this very tough circuit, and they're coming into the left-hander I put on now, and depending on what wheel they've got, the force feedback they've got, depending on how much they've got to work, right? The stronger the force feedback, the more you've got to work. It's fairly obvious.
Yep.
Hi Phil, by the way, in YouTube chat, we haven't missed you. I just haven't had 2 seconds to say hello. So they're going to have to work, so it's going to be who can manage it the most here. Spa isn't as tough as, say, Belle Isle or Street Circuit Long Beach, you know what I mean? Because that's a little bit more, but this is still a tough circuit. It's still, don't forget, a long old racetrack at nearly 4.5 miles.
Plus also the fact, even though people might be thinking you might be getting a little bit of a breather when you're flat out. Well, not when you're doing side by side, wheel to wheel. That is Barry through on Edwards before Blanchimont at over 155 miles an hour. Edwards comes straight back at him, pulls to the outside into the bus stop chicane. Edwards is going to try and keep it pinned around the outside to get the inside line. That's textbook from Edwards. That's why he's a 7-time champion. Barry went wheel to wheel on the approach into Blanchimont. Edwards went, well, you're not going to have it that easy, and threw one right back up the inside of him. Just got the overspeed through into the bus stop, and now could this be the drag race down the hill side by side? Not quite. Edwards back in front of Barry once again.
Yeah, he is, but for how long? Barry's going to have another go here, and we'll see if he can get past this time. He's trying, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing his best, but at the moment, well, it's not quite working out. You can see he's like literally the length of the front splitter ahead of Edwards, and now through into Le Com. Edwards again, tight inside line, neatly goes the number 52, and Barry goes, what on earth in my playbook of tricks do I need to do to put one back up the inside of Simon Edwards? It really has been difficult for Barry. But like you said, James, every time he's behind Edwards, Barry is learning something.
Yeah, he's learning that it's even harder to pass Simon Edwards at Spa than it was at Alton Park. Poor James Barry. I swear he must be in that car banging his head against the wall. And he don't know what to do on that one. Good evening, Mr. Paul LeMay. Where are you gone? I guess your rear wing wasn't needed here at Spa this time around as you go and put it in a wall. So there we go.
After some wonderful pirouetting.
Yes, he did. He looked good, didn't he? It was his audition for Swan Lake.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, add to that, not the nutcracker, the wing cracker on that front as well.
Oh, I like that one.
There we go. But Barry is not giving up at all. We are literally coming towards the end of lap number 7. And, well, there is Paul LeMay. That is off of Rivage or Bruxelles, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go with Rivage tonight. But there is Paul LeMay's stricken car, number 27. And Michael has also given up the ghost. So is Damien G after that moment earlier on. But battle between Edwards and Barry. This is going to be a focal point all the way through this season 4. I can just feel it in my bones here, James, that Edwards and Barry are going to try and one-up each other every single week we go to battle. But it is Simon Edwards, who is the defending champion. He's got to decide what track is going to be week 5 after Zandvoort. And that's what we need to find out, because we're only a couple of weeks away from that.
Well, I have put pressure on Mr. Taylor, and he said, I will find out. But Barry's going to go for it again here. What are we doing in conjunction? We are definitely not doing 89. 163, 164. Barry's in probably the same boat. Edwards is going to educate him again. He's going to leave him room. He's still going to teach him lap after lap after lap. You cannot get through. You can't get through, and he's still trying. James Barry just not able to get through this time here as well. So, yeah, James Barry, I don't really know, Alex. I've got to be honest. But punting, I don't really know what else Barry can do. I'm not saying he's going to do that, of course.
No, not at all. We want to do it fair and firm, but fair on the road. But you could, for effort, and just for sheer, like, never give up attitude, you have to give James Barry an A-star for that one.
Oh, he's trying constantly. He's not stopped, has he? He's gone after him and gone after him and gone after him and gone after him. And, you know, although he's going and going and going and going and going, when he gets there, it's like Edward's got the wife in the back chucking around the kitchen utensils, and he can't get close enough to get past it. You know what I mean? And, you know, for Edwards, he's just building that wall and 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 saying to Barry, you aren't going to get through. How many more times? Try something else. I'm going to educate you. And he's going to make sure he does it, and he'll do it in a way. You just see him here. He didn't defend then as well because there was no need. Barry wasn't close enough. But just watch when they go in. Barry's got to get a good run out of La Source. It is imperative. There is nothing on Barry's mind other than nailing this corner, getting that inside, getting that car in that dip. But you can see Edwards. He just gives him a little bit of a squeeze, makes him think about it. He'll leave him just enough room up down the Kemmel as well. Barry, I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do here, Alex, and I don't know if he's got the top speed to be able to do it.
We've got 3 laps to go, including this one, so it is going to be really, really close. James Barry, again, to the outside. He needs to try and dummy Edwards a little bit here because that's over 150 miles. 6th gear. Barry nearly had 2 wheels. He actually had 2 wheels on the grass coming out of the sort of like the right-hander that leads onto the Kemmel Straight. And again, it is just a case of biding your time. Now, the thing is that we know that mistakes rarely happen with Simon Edwards. That's why he's been that's why he's a 7-time champion, folks. And when you have someone who is very much on his level in terms of pace, but in terms of experience within this series, there is a steep learning curve that James Barry is being subjugated to at the moment. Oh, careful, Jamie Bird. You don't want to go rally crossing either. Oh. Daryl Taylor and Robert Woodward nearly giving James Parfitt a heart attack there. Now into Buon. That's brave from Daryl Taylor, keeping it pinned to the inside. But Taylor might have the run here into Lifagne. Let's see what happens. No, Woodward pulls out of it and decides, you know what? And now someone has gone off and kicked up the dust big time in front. So I would probably think it's probably the likes of Gonzaga, McRitchie, Bird and Bird possibly, because Barry is still on Edwards' rear wing. Oh, don't you dare try it, Blanchimont, at over 150 miles an hour. Barry runs wide. This might set him up a little bit here, but he needed to be a little bit closer to the right-hand side of Edwards to maybe get a little dummy switch over him.
Oh, no!
Edwards Whoa, Simon Edwards just made the first mistake of the night, and that has given an opportunity. James Barry down the start-finish straight hits the front with this and one more lap to go. Just under 14 kilometres of racing left to run, and Barry has now got Edwards swarming all over him like a bad rash on a school day, and Edwards is going to retake the lead. Possibly. No, not through a Rouge Irradiant. No, he doesn't. But Edwards again trying to put the pressure onto Barry. It was an uncustomary mistake, and look at how Simon Edwards just powers past. And Barry, is he going to keep it to the inside? He's going to give it a try, but Edwards went, no, you don't, sunshine. I might have made that mistake, but I've just schooled you once more, my friend.
Oh, my God, the speed Edwards has got in that machine. He literally must have the most skinniest wing you can imagine all night. And we have seen this all night. Every single time they've been alongside, Barry hasn't got the overspeed. Somebody else is alongside. Bird could be alongside Richie. Not got the overspeed. Jocelyn, not got the overspeed. Simon Edwards, bang. You're in a Robin Reliant. I'm in a Lamborghini. See you later, son. Absolutely incredible.
I like the correlation. Robin Reliant a la Del Boy.
yeah, exactly.
You've got Yanni and the Lamborghini Revolto, you know, as a correlation, folks, let's say. But I think you're probably right that Simon Edwards is probably using a low downforce configuration, but also the ride height. They're like literally, if he's a couple of millimeters lower, that's going to help it stick to the ground a little bit more. It's going to clear more of that clean air over the top of the car. But Barry is not one to shy away. Here we go again. Barry to the outside through Blanchimont. Bousson is waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces. Now we go into the bus stop for the penultimate time here on lap 10 out of 11. Edwards still. There was still a little bit of a move. That was still a little bit of a touch between the pair. But this has brought Mike Bousson right into it.
Oh, dearie me. To answer your question, Phil, I've got a litter at the moment. There's at least 6 around me currently here as well. But this is going to be a run. This could be a freeway run down to Lacombe here. And I can guarantee... Oh, come on. Just... Gee whiz, Bousson, get hold of it, son, and have a go. That's my philosophy on that one. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Final time, Alex. Down the Kemmel we go. Let's go, boys. Let's see the free wide. Where is the orange and red line going to go? Go on, Mike. Take the inside line. No, the inside, you wobble. Oh.
Well, into the gun they go for the 11th and final time. Nearly a little bit of a scrub there. Oh, mistake from Barry. Bousson's through. Bousson through at the end part of Lacombe, up into second. James Barry on the last lap makes a mistake through Lacombe. That gives Edwards the daylight. Barry round the outside at Rivage. Are you kidding me? Now into No Name corner. Bousson squeezes him wide, holds on to second through No Name, and Edwards has got the daylight at the end of the tunnel. Barry has now got a fight on his hands, and he's going to try and do everything he can. Now into the double left here at Pouhon for the final time. Barry takes a tighter line, but Bousson able to carry that speed through the corner. Edwards now has a 9/10 of a second advantage into Lefagna for the final time.
Oh, open it up, Mike. Open it up. Oh, Barry's going to try the inside. Oh.
Mike Bousson, you absolute legend, keeping James Barry at bay. Through out of Stavelot for the final time. The white flag lap is almost at its end. We're nearly at the last checkered here at week 3 out of 13 at Spa-Francorchamps. We're on board with James Barry, the number 10. The leader of the championship, but that's going to change with Simon Edwards with a maximum point score. But Barry's going to pin it to the inside of Bousson. They nearly rub sidewalls. They nearly rub side pods as well. Barry and Bousson. Bousson still holding on to that second place. It's going to be a lock-up from Bousson into the final couple of corners. And Barry retakes second. But Edwards takes a double win here at Spa-Francorchamps.
No, Mike Bousson, you did not need to give him that place.
Well... Once James has calmed down...
He didn't need to give him the place. Didn't need to give it back. There was nothing wrong with it. Oh, anyway, quick. Phil Glover's having a bit of a ding-dong down here with Phil Jocelyn. Oh, he's made a mistake. Oh, he didn't need to give it back to him, Alex. There was no need.
So let's have a look from the helicam. Buson. He wasn't quite 4 wheels off track. That was a fairly decent move, in my honest opinion. But he just locked up on the right rear. Right. Yeah, he just locked up. He locked up. That was the main crux. I think probably because he was carrying so much speed through Blanchimont that Buson just locked up big time. That's why Barry got the under-over.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't. I'm gonna disagree with you. He gets the move done, and I can guarantee what's thinking past Mike Buson's head. I've made contact. Watch him pull to the right. That ain't a normal line. That is, I've let him through. And he's let him through purely because he felt like he made contact with him at that last chicane. Me personally, there was nothing wrong with that. And if he comes in the interview room, I've got to call him out because there was no need. Absolutely no need.
Well, if you don't mind, would you mind doing the interviews tonight, good sir?
Love to. Absolutely love to. But anyway, yeah, there's the results.
So, Simon Edwards takes 2 for 2 here at Spa-Francorchamps, which I think actually puts him as the new leader of the championship heading to Zandvoort next week for week 4 out of 13. James Barry, 2 seconds behind. Yeah, I'm kind of siding with you with regards to Mike Buson. He thought he made contact, but it was a slight touch. If he'd spun James Barry around, then I would understand it. But he didn't. It was just like a little love tap.
Yeah.
Jorge Gonzaga takes P4 ahead of James McRitchie. JB Bird, Robert Woodward, Josh Reed, David Rolliston, Daryl Taylor ran out in the top 10. Phil Jocelyn, 11th ahead of Seth Brown. Phil Glover, well, top 10 in race 1 for him. 13th at the end of that one ahead of Paul LeMay, Damien G and Michael LeMay, the latter 3, not finishing the race. But, well, there you go. 2 for 2 for Simon Edwards. And on to Zandvoort with the championship lead for him.
Yeah, he should take the lead, I think, after that one as well. So I'm going to just grab hold of somebody in a minute. I want a word of him. This is not good enough for me. Mr. Buson, where you at? I want to chat.
No amount of camper vans and parrots are going to save them out from Rome tonight.
He's about half an hour up the road from me, mate. I'll tell you, next time I'm up there, that's it, Mr. Buson. Oh, not this one. But I'll tell you what we will do. We'll start with our customary chat with Mr. Phil Glover here as well. Starting on the front row for race number 2. Sorry, I lost where I was there. Bit of contact with Seth Brown, and unfortunately sent him around. But let's have a chat with him. Anyway, Phil, welcome in, bud. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, James. Good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. How was it out there?
One too bad, I guess. As you mentioned then, I think, it was completely my fault. The second race, I think I turned into Seth and I got my due punishment. So back of the grid. I did try to catch people up, though. First race was okay. Where did I finish? Was it
7th, 8th it was, yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't too shabby, I suppose.
No, mate, top 10. Loved it, Phil. Loved it. More of the same next week. Do you know where we're going next week, Phil?
Oh, it's the usual answer from me, isn't it?
Yeah, you ain't got Scooby-Doo.
I haven't. Let me have a guess.
Circuit Zandvoort. I was going to say, yeah, but you're going to say Road Atlanta or Road America. We've been there already. Yeah, Circuit Zandvoort, mate.
Not this season, we haven't. No.
No, not at the moment. Actually, we're only going to Road America, no Road Atlanta this season, so that'd be cool.
Road America's my track, isn't it?
Yeah, all day, Phil. We know that, mate. We absolutely know it. But we're going to Circuit Zandvoort, mate. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that, so I'll have to get that one.
Oh, okay, mate.
I've driven it in other systems, but I don't think I've got it on iRace.
Ah, man, no worries at all. Well, Phil, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, I guess to the winners. What was it? Simon, James and Mike, wasn't it? Well done, guys.
Yeah, it was. So, fair play.
And to Seth, because obviously, mind you, it didn't seem to damage his race too much, but me hitting him on that race.
All right, mate. Well, have a good one, buddy, and I'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah, take care, James. Bye.
Take care, bud. Right, next up, I do want a word with this man here as well to find out what the blinking Jesus was going on towards the end of race number 2. There, the man from Somerset itself here, Mr. Mike Bousson. Mike, you all right, buddy?
All right, my babbers, not too bad. Not too bad.
All right, race 1. Should we really talk about it, or are we not going to worry about the fact that you were in 10th place?
I didn't purposely put myself there 10th again for the second race. I just had, I think I was running all the downforce, and I think a lot of people were slippery. So I think I sort of touched the back of George, and to avoid hitting him off completely, I sort of took too much curb on the left, I think, and and just had to give it up and just try and get out of people's way quickly.
You hit the sausage curb on the exit, and your front left one up in the air on that one. So
well, blame George for being too slow on that corner. That's my excuse.
All right, okay.
I like that one.
All right, mate. Well, there you go. Going into race 2, you had the front, you dropped back a bit from the guys in front of you first, Mr. Edwards and Barry. You were having a right little ding-dong. And then you caught up with them, got past James Barry on the last lap. Now, what happened down in the bus stop?
I'll be brutally honest. I thought I'd contacted him and blocked his line. In hindsight, I just gave up a position. I've just seen it on the review. I thought myself in the panic. I thought, shit, I've gone really deep. Knocked him, took him off his line, and I thought, I'll get out of his way. But yeah. I made a mistake there. Yeah, he's quite welcome to let me have it back, if he wants me demoted, but I'm sure he won't.
No, I'm sure he won't. I'll have a word with him. I was calling you out on the broadcast, so don't watch it back, all right, and watch the end. I'm sorry, you gave it up. You had nothing wrong with it. And I said to Alex, I said he's let him through because he thought he's made contact with him. And
it's going to be something like he rolled over and had his belly tickled or something, was it?
Oh, look at you remembering all the lines, Mike. No, I didn't actually I didn't actually say that you rolled over and had your belly tickled. I did say, however, you did move out the way, you absolute wombat. That's what I think I called you.
All right, sorry.
I could have called you a womble. That should have been more. Oh, is it a womble? No, Wurzel. That's more appropriate for where we live. Isn't it?
Yeah, very true, very true. So, thank you for your kind words on the broadcast.
All right, mate.
And I look forward to that.
No worries at all. Let me know if you want to shout anyone out, bud.
We'll give a shout out to McRitchie as he opted to not do an interview because there were so many of us. So he can have a shout out tonight.
He should have come in.
Space.
Yeah, he should have stayed in there. All right, man.
He'd obviously heard about your second invoicing system.
Yes, go away. Bye, Mike.
Anyway, it's been emotional.
And you, man, take care. Bye. All right, and next up we will have a chat with Mr. James Barry. He tried everything in race 1 to clear Simon Edwards. He went into race 2 and guess what he did? He tried everything again. Guess where he got to? He got to the front. Edwards then powered past him on the Camel Straight, left him in second. Made a mistake on the final lap. Mike Bousson went through. Mike thought he made contact in the bus stop, as he's just told us, and allowed this man to take his second place in the feature race. 2 seconds for Mr. Barry this evening. Let's see how he got on out there. James, welcome in, bud.
Hello. I think you've just said it all. I don't really have to say anything.
Yes, you do. Come on. All right. How was the fight with Edwards? Why? All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Why couldn't you get past him?
I think he's braver than me going side by side. I think he trusts himself more than I trust myself. I think you've said it before. He's a wily old fox, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And there was a couple of times I got past him and then he manages to make a move that I've just been unable to do myself, like into the final chicane. I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know what to say. You said it. I tried everything, and we were running similar downforce, the same downforce level in the first race, by the way. But this gear, the car just maxes out on the straight really early in short gears. So.
Yeah, was it a gearing the problem? Do you think the gearing was the issue? Because in race number 2, in race 1, you were side by side, right, constantly down the Camel, side by side. It was just a rinse and repeat, lap over lap after lap. Race 2, you got side by side. You went out in front. He got you before you'd even come out of Radion at the top of the hill, and he motored past you. Did he extend gearing for race 2 then? Because he just went past you. It was almost like you were stood still in that race.
No, actually, so the only two options we have are short and medium, or short and standard gears, and we were both using short in both races. I was really surprised that he was able to do that, and I don't know how he did it, because I just couldn't do it. So I don't know what to say. I did run slightly more downforce in that race, but still, it's noticeable that he's able to do it better than I am. So I think I just got to work on it somehow.
All right, my final question, James. Is it an education every single lap you stay behind Simon Edwards?
No, because I was 3/10 faster than him in qualifying. So.
Ooh, but he did take 2 out of 2 off you, James. He did take 2 out of 2.
What's educational? Educational. When I go side by side with him, it's educational.
No, what I mean is, did you learn something because there was, like we saw at Alton Park, right? There's things that you were trying that couldn't get done. He tried it, got them done. Same with here tonight. Things that you were trying, you couldn't get done. When you did get past, you did get past him, he got you back. Do you sit there and learn off him and think, oh, actually, okay, I could have broken 5 meters later?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, as I said, he's brave. I think he's a bit braver than me going side by side, and that's something I've got to work on. I'm always just super scared of like being spun off, and maybe that's something I've got to work on. So in that sense, yeah, for sure, it's educational going side by side with him when he's very precise as well. He never makes a mistake when we're going side by side, which is really impressive. So yeah, for sure, in that sense, like hats off to him.
Oh, man. Well, listen, good talking to you, James, as well. And look forward to seeing you next week at Zandvoort. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just you guys, I guess, for the broadcasts and everyone in the league.
Awesome stuff.
See you next week.
Take care, man.
Cheers.
And here we go now. We can have a chat with the man that took it 2 out of 2. Did he take him to school? I don't think so, but let's see what he thought on this one. Simon Edwards, welcome in, bud. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chuckling at your comment there.
Yeah, dude, I listen. I said this to you last week as well, Alton Park. He tried things through Nick and Brooke he couldn't get done. You went and got it done. He tried things here again at Spa, couldn't get it done. You got it done. Flown past him down the camel, something he hasn't been able to do all over the 18 laps of both races. What was it? Was you longer gearing or was you higher? What was the situation with you going into race 2 with your gearing?
Unfortunately, this car isn't geared well. So we've only really got a choice for lap pace to be the short gears. So we all run out of gears in the last 200, 300 metres up the, is it the Kemmel Straight?
Yeah.
Going up the hill, yeah. So I knew if anybody was behind me, a couple of car lengths, then I didn't even need to defend because they would just hit the rev limiter the same as me. So, and I also knew that James normally puts a little bit more downforce on. So even when he did get next to me, I could side draft him back up. And the second thing, I could just drive over the curbs like, not that they weren't there, but they're much better than it looked like a lot of people could. So I think it was just a combination of those. It's another one of those tracks where I've done a million laps, even though this is a slightly different version, especially around Le Combe, with the curbs there. But it was all transferable, so I could. I thought we'd had a clash when I went round him first time because we had a little touch, and I thought I was going round, but James kindly moved over to let me recover. So so it was a bit of kindness from him. He could have just let me go round, but he didn't. So thankful for that.
Yeah, he also got it back as well because Mike thought he'd hit him in the final corner in the bus stop. Although Mike has admitted that he didn't actually see anything wrong with it after watching it on the replay. And Mike let him through to go second there as well. So he could have been an extra place if Mr. Mike Bousson had just held his nerve a little bit longer on that one. Going forward, we've seen the Barry Edwards fight. It's almost like we haven't got a trilogy. We've got a 12-week bout over the two of you. You're the big hitters. You're the Tyson Holyfields of the series. If I asked you now, can you take it with the current form of everybody that's going on at the moment? Do you think you could take this championship?
it's going to be tricky because I think James has now got more pace than me. So I'm going to have to hang on and just do what I'm doing now, really. I can't even remember what the next track is.
Zandvoort.
Is that the new Zandvoort with the horrible banking corner on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer the old version. I've not done many laps around there, so, that's going to equalise us. So it might come down to pace. But there is a bit of, if you can get the last corner right, you can draft. I think the first corner with the way marbles work now might not be doable. It used to be doable. I'll have to play with it. But it's going to be one of those where it's difficult to get past. Zandvoort's always like that, isn't it, I think?
Well, I've seen you for 2 weeks in a row. Absolutely defend your life off. So my final question, has the wily old fox school teacher got more in his locker than the young gun pupil behind him?
He's got more years behind him. But I haven't got many more tricks left.
Oh, Simon, you're full of them. You were positioning your car on the way down at a bus stop, giving him enough on the inside to say, go on then, son, if you think you're brave enough. And he certainly weren't going to take you on the outside, mate. There's a lot more in your locker, I can tell you that much on that one. But listen, both of you done an absolutely amazing job. Simon, well done on your 2 victories here tonight, mate. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Let's give a shout out there to James. He might be feeling horrible that he couldn't do it there, but it's learning. It'll come for both of us. It will equalise out on that much better in the future, I think. It's still on for both of us. Nobody's losing anything in the championship in week 3.
No.
Yeah. So we're both doing well, getting through the pack safely. So, he's driving well.
Awesome stuff. All right, Simon, you take care, mate. We'll see you next week at Zandvoort.
Yep, see you then.
Oh, dearie me. We can welcome back in now Mr. Alex Goldschmidt into the booth. Alex, some great interviews there as well. Mike, regretting his decision, considering, as he just said, I didn't realise I'd never actually put him out and hit him and off his line. James Barry's got to be braver side by side with Mr. Edwards. And Simon, well, kind of turning around saying he ain't got a lot left, but I feel he's got a little bit more.
I smell something fishy when Mr. Edwards said that. He's got plenty of tricks in his back pocket. He definitely.
I fully agree.
But I think the thing was, at least, because the bank corners that were the new variation of Zandvoort, you've got Tarzan at turn 1, Hugenholtz at turn 3, then you've got the Ari Lyondike corner through 14.
Yep.
So there is going to be plenty of drafting down the very, very long start-finish straight at Zandvoort. But Simon Edwards leaves round 3 as the new championship leader, having taken away what was a 3-point advantage that James Barry had after the opening 2 weeks. But, folks, in the meantime, Radical Race Series SR10 will be back in 7 days. Same place, same time. We'll be heading to Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands. But plenty of racing action coming up. The J2 ICS Sprint Series Round 9 at Zolder. The NARS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship, 1.2 hours of Indy. TCR Abruzzi GT4 Series at Hockenheim. CMS World Sports Car Championship, 100 laps of Indy. Casual Race League, F1 24 Interlagos. OGRL Coffee Cup, Tanzo Racing, IGP Fun, and Sim Racing for Simpletons. Need I say more? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on the socials. On behalf of James Parfitt, my name's Alex Goldschmidt. Race hard, race fair, and keep it pinned full throttle to the floor. We'll see you next time. Good night.